and then we start talking.
Yeah, it's
Is
been
that
quite
how
a
it
week.
works? Well, a podcast is like riding a bicycle.
Pick it up, put it down.
Today is Thursday, May 13th, 2021. I'm not going to stop getting this wrong. This is the Producer's Happy Hour.
We are two producers on opposite coasts. Lawrence Lewis is in LA, and I'm Sister Christian in New York City. We're here chatting over drinks about what it means to be a good producer, knowing that these days it's more important than ever.
Yeah, it really is. And we want to hear from you. So please join the conversation at producershappyhourgroup.com or email us at producershappyhour@gmail.com. Send us your questions, your comments, your show topic ideas. If you want to be on the show, let us know. Or better yet, send us a voice recording so we can hear someone else's voice for a change.
Exactly. And do us a big favor. Like us, rate us, review us, everything you can do on Apple Podcasts, because it really helps, with algorithms and shit. It really helps other people like you find the show.
And if you have questions for us, you can join us for office hours.
Yes.
Yes, we believe in mentorship and sharing information in this business. So if you are new to the industry, if you're stuck somewhere in your career and need some advice, hit us up. It's the same email, producershappyhour@gmail.com. And just let us know you'd like to have office hours with us. And we're down to chat. But have a drink ready. The producers are in. But hopefully it's happy hour and you can have a drink ready.
Yes. So, Lawrence, what are you drinking today?
I have retrieved a frozen margarita from El Condor. They've been great through the great panini pandemic, selling frozen margaritas on the sidewalk. It was lovely. Now they're open. They're open for full service, of course, but that was a great treat last summer, and it's heating up again. So I grabbed one for today's show.
I know it's been hot in LA.
Yeah, it really has.
It's been almost unbearable.
It is like mango and classic swirled and combined. It's amazing.
It sounds
what about
delicious.
You?
I'm having a Coors Light. It's been a pretty tough week, and I just had to grab the first thing that I could grab because I need it right now.
Yeah. Where are you? Your sounds a little different today. So I know you're on location, but
yes,
it sounds like it's a secret and you can't say anything.
I can't, but I'm secretly drinking on a stage, locked away in a tiny little corner that nobody. I selfishly enough asked one of the production assistants to find me a quiet area to record. Because I couldn't do it from home.
Right.
So he was so lovely to find this. And here I am. And I snuck a beer in my purse.
Nice for happy hour.
Happy hour.
How's your week been? You've been busy. You've been crazy busy on a bunch of jobs.
Mm-hmm. It's definitely been busy. And there's been a mixture of where they've been, I've done a few remote ones that have been elsewhere in the country. And then on this large one in New York. It's definitely, there's a lot going on right now. Everybody's very much eager to advertise or promote their show or get their content in the can, as we used to say.
Yeah, very true. I've been juggling a lot, I guess I should say. Bids and holds and bookings and shows. And we're going to talk about this, but I'm on one now. That's all celebrities. I can't say much about it. But so if you think our schedules are crazy, oh my God, wait until you get into celebrity schedules and trying to get, 3 days packed with celebrities. It's really hard right now because everybody is flying somewhere and doing something. And that's why schedules are fast and furious. Like you said, everybody wants to advertise and everybody wants to get their content out. And it's most people that I know are, people that can, production teams are prepping more than one job at the same time or prepping and wrapping or, overlapping as much as possible because there is just so much work out there.
Yeah. And I think that that's a pretty interesting point because I can remember when we used to keep that a secret.
Yeah.
We used to not tell. I mean, we used to, especially if you didn't know your two different producers, if you're a production manager, you just never said, okay, I'm going to be doing this and this at the same time. You just didn't.
Yeah.
And now
I even felt odd saying it just now.
Well, yeah, exactly, because it's really unheard of that we are should be talking about it, but now it's actually a prerequisite. When you speak to somebody, I know as a producer, I've offered to say, listen, I understand if you're on something else, but this is small enough that you can probably do both. I've
Yeah.
offered.
Oh
And
yeah,
then
me
the
too.
flip side of that is that the production team may say, yeah, we're on another job. If you feel like you're okay with us taking on your job, we'll do it.
Hmm.
So there's permission
Yeah.
right now, which
Yeah.
before it was secret.
Exactly. As we're saying, and it's not even just producers, it's production teams and art departments and all that kind of stuff. So,
I've certainly said it to stylists. Absolutely. I mean,
oh,
certainly said it
completely.
to obviously, except for the build and wrap grips and electrics and
Yeah, yeah,
those people.
yeah.
But absolutely, I've said it to the rest of the prep teams like, oh, I just need four talent dressed, which before that would have been like
Uh-huh.
two people with 5 days to dress four talent. Whereas now it's like just shop for them while you're shopping for 10 other people on another
Right.
job.
Exactly, exactly. But like as we're saying now more than ever is, we need to be buttoned up, great at our jobs because we're juggling so much more these days and it's a lot of work. So that's, got to be top notch these days to be as multifaceted as we need to be.
Ooh, time for our show topic. I think that we should talk about working with celebrities. What do you think?
That sounds great because we are both doing that. Can't say too much about the jobs we're on, but both involved in jobs dealing with celebrities. And that is one of the fun things about what we do, right? Working with a
Yes.
celebrity mostly, but it can also be like full of landmines.
It can be. And I think that this happens a lot, especially in promos when obviously, if it's a commercial for the NFL or something, you've got like sports celebrities or NASCAR. I've done a ton of NASCAR.
I did
And
too.
yeah. And so those personalities and management teams and spouses and, it's all wrapped up together. And then you have television shows where, you do what we call mondos. And that term means, the entire promotion for the show series. So you have all of the celebrities scheduled at times. They go through BTS, which is behind the scenes interviews and PR stuff. They do on air camera promos, direct to camera, maybe reading from a teleprompter. And then also they do prints.
Yep.
You have multiple stages sometimes and multiple ADs doing schedules and moving people in and out, having 10 dressing rooms, 10 trailers. It can become a monster.
Yeah, it really can. So we have a bunch of tips or topics
Yeah.
that we've come up with that can hopefully help you in kind of making it a successful day, whether you're a producer, production team, even if you're a wardrobe stylist, just, knowing that there's a lot that comes with a celebrity is important. And all that really needs to be said during the bidding process, right?
It does, especially if the personality has a full management or personalities have full management teams, because everything from their vanity squad, meaning their hair, makeup, and wardrobe, to what they required for their dietary needs,
Yeah.
all of that needs to be, because it can become quite expensive.
It is. It is. So, hopefully the bidding process was very thorough and all that information was
Hopefully,
collected.
yes.
Hopefully. Sometimes it's not, but then that's okay. That's when you come in and you get all the details. And the good thing with the celebrity stuff is anything that wasn't kind of set up properly in the bid becomes an overage. So always have that in your back pocket. I always say, when you get the handoff of the job and you're finally introduced with whoever's handling the celebrity, whether it's a PR person or their agent, assume they know nothing and just start from scratch. Send them the scripts, send them the schedules, send them the maps, confirm everything that you know about so nothing gets forgotten in that handoff, because, they might have been sent an old script and you have a new one, but the new one came out the day before you started and they're preparing off of an incorrect script. I've definitely seen that happen before. And you always just kind of start from scratch and assume they know nothing.
Assume that they know nothing. And I've certainly been on stages before when the very first time that the celebrity has seen any creative at all is when they walk onto your set.
Yeah.
And you've also been told for some reason they only have an hour to be there. And they're, yeah. So you have to be completely buttoned up. Just assume that they've not seen it.
Exactly. And get the time allotment window clear, right?
Oh,
so
yeah,
they might say you've got 2 hours or you've got 3 hours or you've got, even if it's 6 hours or 8 hours, know what it is, know what those hours are. And then note, does that include lunch or not? Sometimes it's like they show up here and they show up there, and whether you feed them or you don't feed them in between, that's the time they have. And sometimes some celebrities come camera ready because they like to get ready at home.
Mm-hmm.
So that time might be not included, or it might be. They might want to get ready on set. So does it include glam time? Does it include lunchtime? All that kind of stuff.
I try to include a little bit more for female talent than what they say. And I also try to, and this is a good tip, I used to ask the AD to do it, but I realized that I prefer to have the conversation myself because I learn so much more. Speak to the hair and makeup person separately about how much time it's taken in the past for them to get this particular celebrity ready. That is valuable because the agent may say, oh, just give them 2 hours when it's a solid 3 hours. And your entire day has been put an hour behind because you trusted the agent.
Exactly. Yeah. And the agent's always going to sugarcoat things a little bit.
They're going to say it's less time than what they need so that we plan on getting them out sooner. And that reminds me, there also is this thing that if you send over your shoot schedule the day before and there's an out time of 6 p.m. on it, let's say, I've had agents start to call you at like 5 p.m. saying, you're out at 6, right? I heard you're behind. You're out at 6, right? So just speaking to the hair and makeup team gives you that extra information that you need to make sure that your day is completely scheduled properly.
Exactly. And speaking of vanities, that's part of after that handoff, you get your allotment window kind of clear, making sure you've got all their vanities, personal assistants, drivers information. You got to make sure all those people are in place. They know the right date. They know the schedule as well. That's really important. And then finding out who is your main point of contact for the agent. It might not, for the talent, it might not be the agent. They might hand you off to a personal assistant
or a manager.
I've had that many times.
Or all three.
Yeah.
I've had that too.
Yeah, totally.
And you get a different answer from each one, just so you know.
Yes. Yeah, I was surprised for Marlon Brando. I worked with him.
Listen to this brag, everyone.
That's not a brag. It's not a brag. This is anecdotal evidence about working with a celebrity. I was given to his personal assistant who lived at his house and was also his caretaker. It was towards the end of his life.
His Kato Kaelin.
Yeah, exactly. He wasn't very healthy, and she was also kind of looking after him, and she was very sweet and very helpful, and it was like close and personal into Mr. Brando's life. It was a little bizarre.
But also, too, like it just speaks to how every situation is different.
Yes.
And every celebrity handles, because they are individuals, should be handled as an individual.
Yeah. Exactly. Car service is super important if you have to provide ground transpo, right? You might have to use their own or their own driver or a vendor they like. But if it's your own choice, do not cheap out on that car service. Use the top of the line, the kind that provides car tracking. So you can actually see on the computer where that car is. So you know exactly where they are. Treat them like a 5-year-old and you got to make sure they get to where they're going because Lord knows if they go to the wrong gate at the studio you're at, oof.
Exactly. And I also have to say that there was a time when there would be a debate whether or not you should have a production assistant versus a professional car driver. And in my opinion, there's too much that could be blamed on production when you use a production assistant in a rental car. You should just go and once you've established a relationship with somebody like BLS or Music Express, then you explain who the celebrity is. 9 times out of 10, they may have driven this person before.
That's true.
And you can also describe and the type of driver and express your expectations to the car service. And that level of car service will absolutely understand and follow your request.
Yeah, they get it. And they will step up if you're using one of those proper car services. This was funny because this was one of my tips of the day in like one of our first 5 episodes, but it's what I said because we talked about celebrities back then, and I said, think about every touch point for that celebrity along the way. From the day they wake up, if they have glam coming there to get them ready or whatever, the car, the driver, is there paperwork inside? Is there going to be a script inside for them to look at or a schedule or something? From the gate, like if you're at a studio lot and there's a gate, put a PA at that gate to make sure they get in. and there's no troubles at the gate. Inevitably, somebody's not going to be let in.
Oh.
We're told to go to the wrong studio all the time.
My turn to brag. So
Yeah.
yes, it happened to me. And I got a random 310 cell phone number calling me. And it happened to be Dolph Lundgren. And he was like, I'm at the studio and they won't let me in the gate. I'm like, don't they know who the hell you are? And he started laughing. But you know, like you never want to be put in that situation where you have this celebrity calling you saying like, why the hell can't I get in?
That is awful.
No, well, it was great. He's still on my phone. That is what you should be prepared for. And he was just there to do it for a fitting. He just went to Universal for a fitting. So
this isn't a personal brag. It was another friend of mine that was doing a shoot with Sally Field.
Oh, nice.
And the same thing at friggin' Warner Brothers, or maybe it was Universal. They didn't have her name on the list and they didn't let her in. And
I mean, like, look, I'm sure they recognized who. Well, maybe not.
They might only be talking to the driver, but still, it's like, Jesus, it's Sally friggin' Field.
I know. It's so good, but it happens.
It does. It does.
And then because this just happened this week for me, is dietary. One of the celebrities we were working with is vegan, and I'm not talking like I'm a vegan now kind of vegan.
No, like level
this
3.
This person is fucking vegan. You know what I mean? Like,
It's
serious. And it's a complete and total, fitness life thing. So you have to be very, very aware. Your caterer, the craft service person who puts snacks in their motorhome, to the gift basket you give, everything needs to be thought of.
It does. And in fact, what I like to do is even though if you have catering there and you've got a meal specially made for them, is be prepared and have restaurants menus ready to go and call those restaurants to find out what their lead time is on a busy Wednesday, especially if you're in a busy city area. Just have backups because they might hate the catering. And then you need to be ready to get them something else.
Yes. Or it's always a nice little bonus to say, we absolutely have this, but if you were thinking about maybe this vegan hut place that is great around the corner, they have this. And that's always just a little like, well, maybe I'll have a snack this afternoon,
Yeah, totally. And if they're not vegan, just have a friggin' sugarfish menu in your back pocket wherever you go.
I know, like it always goes.
That is an easy win. That's an easy win. One other tip that I like is just kind of always preparing both the director. A lot of people get starstruck or excited, especially young agency groups, that you're working with a celebrity, but kind of preparing them for possible delays or any possible bad behavior.
Yeah. As producers, especially experienced one, you can sense with certain questions or certain requests how the day's going to go. So if you're sensing it, then not saying to put up any red flags, because it always makes somebody nervous. And then all of a sudden, everything went well. And the agency's like, why did you say anything? Yeah. It's really more of feelings and understanding that you're sensing something. So maybe try to dive a little bit deeper into that to make sure that you have made the potential aware.
Yes. Yeah, exactly. A lot of times, they'll come up with crazy fun stuff for the celebrity to do or say, or something. If it's this is coming from an experience, I'm not going to say who, but it was a comedy spot. It was a promo, celebrity talent. And they're like, oh, what if we had them do something zany? And then it's like, okay, I just want to be prepared for the reality that they might not want to. And they're like, they seem so fun. They seem so fun. Why wouldn't they?
And then, of course, exactly. I mean, I think that what I had to do, I had the same thing happen, and I had to explain that, yes, that the personality that is seen on television is not the personality that this person really is. So going back to treating them as an individual. Because if they don't want to do something,
guess what?
I mean, you want a sourpuss on your hands?
Yeah. A lot of people, they manage their on-camera persona very, very carefully and very thoughtfully.
Exactly. Because it is a brand these days.
It's a brand. Yeah. So don't assume that because they're an actor, they're going to, do a pirouette for you or whatever it is your zany script is calling for.
Yeah. And they're also not a trained animal, which is, I think, how a lot of celebrities feel whenever you ask them to do things like that. And figuring out the right way to not offend your agency or client by explaining that to them is something you should be prepared to do as well.
100%. Yep. Look, the timer's running out, but we've got 5 minutes.
So we'll buzz through these real quick.
Through these, yeah.
I mean, I think a really great one is to always ask about a teleprompter or cue cards, because if it's the first time they're laying their eyes on the script, then they can't expect it to be able to absorb it.
Exactly. So always having that standing by or in the back of your head. Sometimes they even make cue cards, even if the celebrity says no, and just have them at the ready, just in case, especially if there's like a big chunk of copy. Green room, trailer, is there a rider? You got to ask all that stuff and make it look nice. Even if you're on some dumpy stage, find something, put some flowers in there, put some air freshener, go smell it the day before. Yeah. It could smell awful. There could have been a smoker in there.
Exactly.
Like, really,
that happened to me.
Think about it as if like you're putting your grandmother in it, and
right.
What are they going to be comfortable? So really focus on that.
In addition to that, the entourage, like how many are coming, then you should plan for that, because if the green room is a 9x9 box and they have 5 people coming with them and it's COVID times, you should really be prepared to speak to your client and say, this is what's happening and we need more space.
Yeah, absolutely. And speaking of COVID times, all the entourage needs to be COVID tested right now.
Exactly.
Hopefully down the road, these things will be easier. But yeah, if the person's coming with 10 people, they all need to be tested before they're allowed on your set, right?
Yes. Don't forget, I mean, I know we do this now. We've been doing it for years, but inform the crew. No photos, no social media, no autographs, no fucking autographs, no fucking autographs. I can't say that enough.
Yeah.
I mean, this is an individual. They happen to be famous. But that they're still an individual, and the last thing they need at work is to be asked by other work people.
Yeah, other professionals in the industry. Come on, knock it off.
We're professionals.
And then the last thing I would say is, once you know you're doing a job with a celebrity, I'd ask some other fellow producers, fellow wardrobe people, fellow on-set people that have worked with that celebrity, and see if you can get any insight on their personality, how they like to work, likes, dislikes, all that stuff, because that's helpful, but also take it with a grain of salt, because somebody might have had a bad experience once, and it's always easier to hear that than to hear the 5 other people that are like, oh yeah, it was fine.
Exactly.
So, take it with a grain of salt. So there you go.
I think everything's a takeaway today.
I think we took away the whole entire thing, right? The takeaway was all those things we just said.
All those things, because you just never know. Like, just understand that you're working with an individual, and that the person that you may have seen on social media, on television, or in magazines, like back in the day when they were in a magazine. I mean, that person is still an individual, and you should be thinking about them as a person first.
And planning, really thoughtful planning, and just a lot of consideration and a lot of care to make it a very comfortable experience on set. That's it.
That's it. Producers Happy Hour was created with the help of Christopher Daniels, who is a treatment designer, and he created our logo and branding.
And Kyle Puccia, who is a music composer for TV and film, he created our show music.
And this episode was edited by the fabulous Eric Beals.
Thanks for listening, everybody. We are back next week. So in the meantime, be safe out there.
Send us your voice recordings or emails to producershappyhour@gmail.com.
Christian, how do people get a hold of you directly when they want a top celebrity commercial producer?
sisterchristianproduces.com. Lawrence, if people want to hear your beautiful voice or have you produce for them.
Voiceoflawrence.com or lawrencetLewis.com.
See you.
Bye.